Why is it that the very things we turn to for pleasure often leave us feeling empty, restless, or even trapped? From endless scrolling on our phones to binge-watching shows or relying on sugar and alcohol, modern life seems engineered to overstimulate us. Dopamine Nation helps us understand why. This book matters because it exposes the hidden mechanism that drives both joy and suffering: dopamine. By uncovering how this brain chemical shapes habits, desires, and even addictions, it offers practical tools to regain balance in an overstimulated world. The pleasure-pain balance: every time you experience pleasure, your brain tips into pain shortly afterward. This is not punishment, it is biology. The brain is wired to maintain equilibrium. That is why the joy from a delicious dessert fades quickly, sometimes leaving you restless or craving more. The more often you repeat the cycle, the more the balance tilts toward pain. This explains why chasing pleasure leads to dissatisfaction, tolerance, and addiction. Repeated exposure to the same source of pleasure builds tolerance. What once felt rewarding now feels flat. For example, one video game session excites you, but after weeks, you need hours of playing to feel the same buzz. This tolerance is the seed of addiction. The book shows that addiction is not limited to drugs or alcohol. It can be social media, shopping, food, even exercise. When dopamine pathways become overloaded, the brain adapts by dulling sensitivity, making ordinary life feel colorless. Abstinence and reset. The solution is not more stimulation, but less. Short-term abstinence, sometimes called a dopamine fast, allows the brain to reset. By removing the addictive stimulus, balance begins to return. A person who stops checking their phone every 10 minutes may feel anxious and irritable at first, but within weeks, calm and focus improve. This principle applies across behaviors, from overeating to online overuse. Pain as a pathway to healing. Counterintuitively, leaning into discomfort can restore balance. Activities that involve healthy pain, like exercise, cold showers, or fasting, release dopamine gradually and sustainably. Unlike the instant spikes from drugs or social media, these methods encourage long-term equilibrium. For instance, finishing a tough workout may feel exhausting, but afterward, mood improves naturally for hours, without the crash that follows artificial highs. The role of self-binding. Sometimes willpower is not enough. Self-binding involves creating barriers between yourself and temptation. That might mean deleting apps, avoiding environments that trigger habits, or setting strict time limits. Imagine someone who struggles with late-night online shopping. Placing credit cards in another room or using browser restrictions creates just enough friction to break the cycle. Radical honesty. The book highlights the power of honesty in breaking addiction. Hiding behavior feeds shame, which strengthens the cycle. By openly acknowledging struggles, whether to a friend, therapist, or support group, individuals reduce secrecy and gain accountability. One patient described in the book managed to overcome an addiction to online content by admitting the depth of their problem to others. The act of speaking truth became the first step toward recovery. The role of community. Isolation makes cravings worse. Community provides balance, shared support, whether through recovery groups, family, or friendships, helps people endure the discomfort of withdrawal and stay committed. A person trying to give up alcohol may find the journey unbearable alone, but within a group, the shared stories and encouragement act as a safety net. Moderation versus abstinence. Not every behavior requires full abstinence. For substances like food or technology, moderation is possible. The key is to monitor whether the activity controls you or you control it. If attempts at moderation repeatedly fail, abstinence may be the only path. Think of someone who tries to limit social media but fails every time. In that case, deleting the app completely may be more effective than setting daily limits. The search for meaning. Ultimately, pleasure cannot be the only pursuit. The book emphasizes meaning and purpose as antidotes to overindulgence. When people dedicate themselves to service, creativity, or growth, they find deeper satisfaction that does not depend on dopamine spikes. For example, volunteering or mentoring shifts attention outward, creating fulfillment that lasts longer than any short-lived high. The big takeaway: happiness is not about chasing more pleasure, but about restoring balance between pleasure and pain. By recognizing how dopamine works, we can break free from compulsive cycles and reclaim control. The book does not reject pleasure, but teaches us to enjoy it responsibly, without letting it enslave us. Closing challenge. Here is the challenge. Pick one source of overstimulation in your life, maybe caffeine, social media, or late-night snacking, and remove it for 2 weeks. Watch what happens to your mood, focus, and energy. You may discover that true satisfaction comes not from constant highs, but from balance, presence, and purpose. Books have the power to transform lives, and sharing knowledge makes it even more valuable. If this summary gave you new insights, hit the like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more wisdom from the world's best books.